Hi everyone, welcome back to Dobby Books. Okay, so I just made my library run. I didn't go to my library sale last Saturday. I had other things I wanted to do. Today I did. And I'm going to show you what I got there today. I want to also show you some items that I ended up purchasing at the bookstore a couple days ago when I went in for one thing and, for some reason, a couple of other books just tend to show up in my bag when I get home. And then the last thing I'm going to show you are some books that I found at my college library. You know how they have oh gosh, now the name's escaping me. When you, the, the little lending libraries that you have when you're going for a walk. Oh my gosh, I know the name. But anyway, they have that in the foyer at my college, and there are books that the staff, the teaching staff, as well as students will leave there. And of course, you can take other books that you like. And that's a very dangerous place for me to be, really. So I came home with a few things. So here we're going to go. And today, I have a special guest who decided she wants to sit on my lap. This is Lily. Hi, Dee. She's my spicy little chihuahua. She'll like you when she'll let you know when she likes Hi, Dee. You love Mama though, huh, baby girl? Yes, she is 12 years old. And she can still go on hikes, and she loves to go for our walks, and she usually is the one taking me for a walk for about the first mile, huh, Dee Dee? Yeah. And then she chills out for a little while, and then I pick her up. And then eventually when we go downhill, I put her back down. But she's in great shape for 12. Aren't you, Dee Dee? Say hi, Dee Dee. Look. Dee Dee. Look over there. Over there. No, over there. So anyway, this is Lily. All right, Lily. Here we go. So first, let me show you what I got at the Barnes & Noble. I went to get an MLA handbook. I had been using the one on the computer for, quite some time for my studies. I got tired of using it. I want something tangible. So I got my MLA handbook. This is the latest, 9th edition, and it's lovely. There's nothing spectacular to share. It's an MLA handbook. All right. And the other two books that hopped into my bag without me knowing was from Gabriel Garcia Marquez, 100 Years of Solitude. I have this book in Spanish. I had purchased it for my mother. And one of my projects that I'm going to be doing after graduation, when I have, time to breathe, I want to read this in both languages. And I think I'll read it in English first, and then I'll read it in Spanish. Then another book I got by the same author, Love in the Time of Cholera. I loved this particular edition because this one is illustrated. And I just thought that was so unique because all the other books I found were along these lines, just your standard paperback. And this one was larger. The texture on the cover is, it's got more, the texture. And the color was just beautiful. And of course, the illustrations on the inside. I think that really made it worth the investment. So let me see if I can show you some of the pictures. Not as easy to do. Let's see. So those are just three of several that I see here. You can see the lines where the illustrations might be. I'm not sure if that shows up for you. But this was a beautiful copy, so I decided to get it. So those were my new buys at the bookstore. And then, of course, the dangerous place in my college library, the university library, is the foyer. And I got just a few things. I found this, Teach Yourself How to Learn. Now, I've seen this book. I've heard of this book. I'm familiar with this book. I never had a copy of it. So don't ask me how I found out so much information about it, but this is it. So I took it home. Has no reading, no markings or writings in it at all. Another one I found is called Dear America, Notes of an Undocumented Citizen by Jose Antonio Vargas. Now, I thought that would be a good, very good. And it seems to have, no illustrations. But I love stories like this, especially when it comes to immigrants and, coming to this country. This is a more contemporary one. Then I got this Reading in Ancient Western Philosophy. I picked it up. I put it down. Came back later, picked it up, put it down. Took one more look before I left, picked it up, took it home. I figure if I don't enjoy it, I can always bring it back. But I think I kept coming back to it because I thought this is a great collection in one place. And I think it's going to come in handy. So I got this. I'm thinking teaching staff dropped this off. This one, I'm going to guess, might have been a student for one of the classes, Remaking America, Democracy, and Public Policy in an Age of Inequality. Russell Sage Foundation. And there are contributions from Robert Reich and Theda Gapel. And the publisher is, the Russell Sage Foundation. There we go, that looks fascinating. This one, I know a teacher must have dropped this off. Academic Reading, Reading and Writing Across the Disciplines. This subject interests me anyway, so I'm glad I found something about this. This is a Broadview Press publication. This was printed in Canada, 1996. And that was it. That was my little interruption in the foyer. Now let me show you what I got at the library. I went through those pretty quick because, there's a lot. Now this book I found because it's a companion volume to some sort of classical literature, which I always find very helpful. And I looked through it and it looks like it's really going to be interesting. It's The Bedford Companion to Shakespeare, an introduction with documents. And this is from Russ McDonald. And I'm going to assume it's a university press, Bedford Books. And it's interesting because it not only covers Shakespeare's life, but there was a section in the table of contents that I checked out a little bit later on, and they were the books and the authors that influenced William Shakespeare. And I really wanted to read that part because I've heard a smattering of that in my classes, and here it's going to provide a lot of it. It just goes through his entire life from birth to death, his work. Oh gosh, I wish I could tell you more, but let's just move on. Hold on. Go get it, Didi. And my next one is, get this. Let me skip this. I'll get this other one last. Let me move these over here. This is a book that I read a long time ago. I don't remember a lot of it. It was very popular at the time that it was first published, and everybody was encouraged to read it, so I did. And this particular one was published, originally 1978, but this is the first Touchstone edition, 2003, so it's a reprint, and it is The Road Less Traveled. I'm glad I found it because I want to read it again. Now that I'm an old woman, I've had some life experience. I think this came out when I was in my 20s. So it's going to be really interesting to read this now. It's going to be cool. The next one I found because I've read the book There is a River, which is the life of Edgar Cayce. I find a fascinating read. I found this book as well, Edgar Cayce on the Akashic Records. This should be a fascinating read. That was great. I also found that, now I've read this author's other book, and I'm trying to remember what the name of it was. And I read it during a time in my life when that sort of topic interested me, really helped me. But the previous book she had written, I'm trying to see if they have it here, and I don't see it. But anyways, the previous book she wrote was talking about her own growing up life, and then becoming a mother, and then suffering the loss of her daughter. That's the book I did read, and it was wonderful. And I thought, I really like this author, and I knew she had this book out, but that was as far as it went. Like, okay, one day I'm going to read that book because I really liked this author, and it's called The Cloister Walk, and by Kathleen Norris. I thought it was just fascinating. It is, why would a married woman with a thoroughly Protestant background and often more doubt than faith be drawn to the ancient practice of monasticism, to a community of celibate men whose days are centered around a rigid schedule of prayer, work, and scripture? This is the question that poet Kathleen Norris asks us, as somewhat to her own surprise, she found herself on 2 extended residencies at St. John's Abbey in Minnesota. Part record of her time among the Benedictines, part meditation on various aspects of monastic life. The Cloister Walk demonstrates from the rare perspective of someone who is both an insider and outsider, how immersion in the cloistered world, its liturgy, its ritual, its sense of community, can impart meaning to everyday events and deepen our secular lives. In this stirring and lyrical work, the monastery, often considered archaic or otherworldly, becomes immediate, accessible, and relevant to us, no matter what our faith may be. This is going to be a good read. I'm very much looking forward to it. Next one. Captured by the Indians, 15 first-hand accounts from 1750 to 1870. Now, I read one story last year in a class when we were reading Mason and Dixon by Thomas Pynchon. And I thought, wow, a primary source, a first-hand experience. This is fascinating. And I knew there were others that I had sort of happened upon while reading something else. So when I saw this, I thought, wow, here's my collection. This is from Dover Publications, I believe. Captured by the Indians. So this I'm going to read while I'm doing my American history, sometime maybe next year or the year after. As some of you may know, I'm doing my chronological history study, and I'm about to enter medieval times, so it'll be a little while before I get to this. Next one. No, not this one. Okay, this is the next one. This one, you know what? I saw the book in one section of the library. It had the history books and thought, I know about this book. This is going to be a good read, but maybe I don't need it today. And then later on, I went around to the other section. This was a section against the wall in the library basement area. And I saw the book again. And that for me is I take it as, no, you need to read this, so bring it home with you today. So I did. It's called The Freemasons by Jasper Ridley, a history of the world's most powerful secret society. And it just goes throughout history throughout the world and their participation in it, their role in it, their influence in it. I don't want to read the back. Well, maybe I should. The Freemasons are a subject of endless fascination. To the layman, they are a mysterious brotherhood of profound, if uncertain, influence. A secret society purported in some popular histories to have its roots in the fabled Order of the Knights Templar, or in the mysteries of the Egyptian pyramids. They evoke fears of world domination by a select few who enjoy privileged access to wealth and the levers of power. The secrecy of their rites suggests the taint of sacrilege, and their hidden loyalties are sometimes accused of undermining the workings of justice and the integrity of nations. In shining a light on a society cloaked in mystery, the Freemasons provides balance, fluid writing, meticulous research, and a thoughtful perspective. But one of the pleasures of this book, not to be overlooked, is that it also comprises a compendium of notable Freemasons throughout the centuries, a who's who of prominent politicians and other leaders, writers, businessmen, thinkers, and artists. Jasper Ridley concludes his illuminating and immensely readable survey with a chapter on Freemasonry in America today and an answer to the question, are the Freemasons menace? I think this is worth reading. It's going to be good. Now, the last one I got is a whole series. And I got this because in my own collection of books for my granddaughters, I'm trying to have copies of books that they can read. I don't mind if they handle, for example. The special editions, I prefer to separate. And one of my prized collections is my Harry Potter collection. And I have an entire case, that has 3 bookshelves, and each one of these bookshelves is covered in a glass cabinet cover. Did that make sense? Anyway, so that's where my Harry Potter books are, and my Harry Potter memorabilia, and no one touches that at all. I have first editions and first prints, and I have special editions and house editions, etc. Nobody touches that. So for a while I've been looking for a Harry Potter collection in very good condition. It doesn't have to be new, just very good condition that I could get inexpensively to put in my granddaughter's bookshelves. And I did. But you're going to notice something as soon as I show it to you. How many books are here? You counted 6, you're right. And in the Harry Potter series, there are 7. This particular collection is missing book 1. But I think I can fix that eventually. And I love this collection. It's very pretty. Look at the covers. This is the cover to book 2, which is Chamber of Secrets. This is book 3, Prisoner of Azkaban. Book 4, The Goblet of Fire. Book 5, The Order of the Phoenix. Book 6, The Half-Blood Prince. And book 7, The Deathly Hallows. I love that. I'll find book 1. This is really a beautiful series, and I think it's going to look great on their bookshelf. And that was the last thing I collected at my library sale today. That's it, everybody. I did finish my book, The Librarianist. It was a very good book. It had me laughing. I love the storyline, but the ending has gotten me, so I'm still thinking about it. But I recommend you read it. Yeah, but if you do, let me know, because I really want to discuss the ending with you. Everybody, have an awesome week, and tomorrow, happy September. Bye-bye.